in the process of completing the design of the Pactor for absorption of a dilute vapor, and that was based on the solute mole balance only on the gas phase in a differential element between the heights z and z plus delta z. That led to this balance with a small correction here. I did mention this verbally. This should appear as capital K subscript capital G, and as we will shortly see, we will come across 3 mass transfer coefficients now. This will be the first one, capital K subscript capital G is the overall gas phase mass transfer coefficient. Okay. Small k subscript capital G is a gas film transfer coefficient, that is only to take care of the resistance in the gas side. And then third mass transfer coefficient, again a film transfer coefficient corresponding to liquid phase resistance, will be small k subscript capital L. Okay. If we take the idea that total resistance is made up of the resistance in the gas phase and in the liquid phase, and we ignore the resistance in the interface, then we should be able to write a rough proportionality of reciprocal of capital Kg gas phase mass transfer resistance, scaling as reciprocal of small k subscript capital G and reciprocal of small k subscript capital L, the gas phase resistance, gas film resistance and the liquid film resistance. They will add up to give you the overall gas phase resistance. In the main flow of discussion, I realized that while we talked about the film theory, this idea of a 2 film theory we did not touch upon so far. So, this is coming incidentally now in context of gas absorption, that the overall resistance will be constituted by resistance within the gas film followed by the resistance in series, that in the liquid film. Okay. And I believe that probably the idea of overall gas phase transfer coefficient itself was not entirely clear from what I can figure out from your reaction. So, let us discuss this a bit. I will write this on the board. Can you all see this part, all of you? In general, say some solute A is being transferred from gas into the liquid. Recall the concept of collisional barrier. Molecules of A will have to go through the gas phase, and this would be probably in mixture with a second component which is inert. So, if A molecules are moving towards the interface from the bulk of the gas, they would be colliding with other molecules of A and molecules of the inert second component. So, there will be collisional barrier here. Obviously, this will give rise to certain resistance. Okay. You can at this point imagine one special case. Suppose we keep on increasing the concentration of A and decrease the concentration of the inert or second component, eventually we will reach a state where this binary mixture will be tending towards pure A. And if you go to the ultimate limit, when the second component is eliminated completely, we will have pure gas A here. The collisional barrier, total collisional barrier, now will have lesser contribution from the collisions with the other molecules, right. But self collisional barrier cannot be eliminated, that would remain. It may not be clear to you here at this stage how much can be significance of self collisional barrier. I gave you one peripheral example in case of evaporation of water, when we argued that it was flashing through a liquid surface into vacuum. And if we placed a thin layer, 1/10 of a millimeter thick layer of air, stagnant air, the rate of evaporation would drop by a factor in excess of 600. So, collisional barrier will be very significant. Self collisional barrier will also be to some extent measurable in only theoretical sense. Actually turns out that if you have a pure component A, for all practical purposes, we could say that there is no resistance in the gas phase. Okay. When we say this practically, that means actually we are talking in reference to the time scales of practice. In practice, the times of contact are of the order of maybe 1 second, 10 seconds, or even larger. Even larger times of contact might be desirable, and it turns out the time scale over which self collisional barrier could affect mass transfer, those turn out to be exceedingly small, to the tune of about 11 orders of magnitude. So, if you are talking of practical time scale of 1 second, the self collisional barrier or resistance within a pure gas would be of significance in time scale of the order of a picoseconds, maybe 10 times picoseconds, about 10 raised to minus 11 seconds. Okay. So, theoretically we can say that this resistance will be important in that short time scale, but in practical sense it will be always safe to say that resistance within a pure gas will be negligible. We could say that it does not exist, but for the sake of understanding, we must keep this in mind that even self collisional barrier will affect situation in some theoretical sense. If we were to measure, we will have to go to the time scale of the order of about 10 raised to minus 11 seconds. So, that is not practical. However, that is true, and I will exemplify that hopefully through a problem to come, where these concepts will be little more clear, but right now the focus is on the overall gas phase mass transfer question. So, let us say for the time being that within a column, within a packed tower, at certain location, let us say height z, the local liquid contains the dissolved solute A concentration, which gives you a mole fraction x. Corresponding to this location, the gas phase concentration or mole fraction will be y. Okay. Or the concentration of A is C1 here, and the concentration of A here will be C1, let us say L. These are actual concentrations, C1 within the gas phase, that is moles of A per unit volume of gas phase. At that location Z, at this Z, the liquid contains dissolved solute at this mole fraction x. Okay. So, y and x or C1 and C1L are the actual concentrations of A within the gas phase and within the liquid phase, right. Why are we doing absorption? Because we want to remove the solute A from a dilute vapor mixture with some inert, and the reason this works is because under those conditions the driving force exists for mass transfer, which means in strict terms chemical potential of A in the gas phase exceeds the chemical potential of A in the liquid. In that sense the transfer is possible. If it were not, then there would be equilibrium, there would not be any net transfer. Is that clear? Okay. Now, presume that some stationary layer of gas close to the interface offers all the resistance that actual gas phase offers. It is possible to think of some representative thickness of stagnant gas near the interface which contains all the resistance that this entire gas phase normally would offer. That would be our gas film, and the corresponding gas phase transfer coefficient is the film transfer coefficient, which I will represent as small k subscript capital G. So, small k subscript capital G is the resistance offered by the gas film. It offers the same resistance, it is anyway hypothetical. It is a hypothetical film which offers same resistance as the entire gas phase offers under those hydrodynamic conditions present there, right. So, this, let it be clear that the film thickness or film itself is hypothetical. Same way, whatever the hydrodynamics here in the liquid is present, we say that okay, it will be contained in a liquid film adjacent to the interface, which is stagnant, across which steady state mass transfer could take place, and it offers the same resistance as the actual liquid under actual hydrodynamic conditions. Again, a hypothetical film of the film theory. It offers the same resistance. Ideally, the total resistance, if interface were not to offer any resistance, would be sum of the resistance in the gas film plus the resistance in the liquid. Is that clear? Okay. Now, we know from what we done earlier that flux is the mass transfer coefficient times driving force. So, the mass transfer coefficient reciprocal will be occupying the same position as resistance in a generic rate equation. In general, we had seen that rate is equal to driving force by resistance. By taking kg in the denominator in the expression for flux, Na is equal to, let us say, kg delta CAG. You take kg in denominator, it will become delta CAG divided by 1 by kg. So, 1 by kg is resistance, reciprocal of kg and reciprocal of KL, the small KL, the liquid phase resistance should add up to the overall resistance. Okay. That resistance we will say will be 1 by capital K subscript capital G. So, if we were to think of this entire system in terms of only gas phase, what would we require? If that is clear, then other things will become clear to you. You know that this X, the existing solute mole fraction in the dissolved state in liquid, is not in equilibrium with the gas phase mole fraction. That is why the transfer is taking place, right. However, we cannot subtract the concentration in the liquid phase from concentration in the gas phase, because you know what happens. Concentration in liquid in general will be so much larger than the concentration in the gas, although chemical potential there will be smaller. So, when you take a difference in concentration for driving force, it has to be within either the same phase, it could be gas phase or liquid phase, or it could be in terms of an equivalent. You cannot take the concentration in the gas phase minus concentration in liquid phase, that is not correct. So, if you have to describe this overall transfer in terms of gas alone, then we will have to go from liquid to an equivalent gas condition. What would that be? Let us say this X, solute mole fraction in the liquid, is equilibrium with certain gas, not this. That gas phase mole fraction could be inferred from here. It will be, let us say, some Y value, say Y equivalent. This hypothetical gas phase in equilibrium with this liquid here now allows us to take the difference in concentration existing here minus in that equivalent gas phase. It will be tantamount to saying that whatever is the resistance offered by this liquid film is now written in equivalent equivalents of the gas phase, and in an equivalent picture we replace the liquid by a gas film which is a lot thicker. Resistance of this gas film is equal to resistance of the liquid. So, it is like imagining that instead of liquid I had a gas phase, and that gas phase had the same concentration as would exist in equilibrium with the existing liquid phase concentration. I am now allowed to take the difference in concentration C1 minus that equivalent concentration, and I will multiply that driving force by capital K subscript capital G, the overall gas phase mass transfer coefficient, and I can get the flux. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. I knew this question will come. Please remember, when we talk of equivalence of the liquid in terms of gas phase, the resistance offered by the liquid 1 by KL will go into this equivalent gas phase resistance, okay, and corresponding thickness. Therefore, I have drawn this minuscule liquid film replaced by a much larger hypothetical gas film which gives me the same resistance. Okay. Because we know gas is rarer than liquid, we will require a thicker film to give the same collisional barrier, much thicker film, right, but resistance will be same. Okay. Now, I can switch gears here and tell you that we could have chosen an equivalent approach. Instead of describing liquid in terms of equivalent gas, we could have said that I stick to liquid, I express the gas phase in terms of liquid phase, in which case I would take the concentration here same, and concentration here will be from equivalent liquid. I will replace gas by liquid film of the same resistance, that will be much thinner film, and then I could write in terms of capital K subscript capital L, that will be overall liquid phase transfer coefficient. That is where the first bifurcation I pointed out to you. You should be mentally prepared to make application of this idea. I am only going to demonstrate in terms of gas phase, but you should be, if you understood the concept, you should be able to extend the analysis entirely in terms of liquid phase and liquid phase overall mass transfer coefficient. Is that clear? If you have any questions, ask them, because who knows, I might have the whim or fancy to ask the same question in some exam. You should be clear here. Don't ask me then, ask me now. If there are no questions, then I understand that you got what I am saying, right? We still have time. Okay. If this is clear, then we can go ahead and come to our equations again. So, what we had done was basically made the partial this mole balance on the gas phase alone, and then we divided it by A delta z, took the limit delta z tending to 0, and it gave us this equation minus G dy by dz. Please remember, it's fundamentals. Henry's law is a statement of equilibrium. Okay, it is a statement of equilibrium, and it holds good only for sparingly soluble gases. That's exactly the point of departure. Something like CO2 in water, not highly soluble. If it were highly soluble, you won't need to pressurize. Your carbonated drinks are under pressure. When you open a soda water bottle, CO2 bubbles come out because the interface finds that the liquid is super saturated at that pressure. So, you have this bubbling desorption happening. Okay. CO2 is sparingly soluble in water. You cannot possibly think of HCl water system being described by Henry's law. So, that is the second part. Henry's law is equilibrium statement. It is an equilibrium relationship between the gas phase mole fraction and liquid phase mole fraction, true only for sparingly soluble gases, low solubility gases. Okay. So, when you say y star equal to Hx, what do you mean? Strictly speaking, it is this. Strictly speaking, you have a gas phase and you have liquid phase. Let us say a bottle which is pressurized, CO2 is pressurized, water is there underneath, and you keep supplying CO2 in pressurized condition until the water becomes saturated with CO2. Okay. At that time, at that point, Y star will be the mole fraction found in the gas phase and X the mole fraction in the liquid, and the two are in equilibrium. I am taking the example where bulk of liquid is in equilibrium with the bulk of gas. Once you say equilibrium, it does not matter. If I keep shrinking the layer of water and keep shrinking the layer of CO2, it would still hold. If in particular I shrink the liquid to the thickness of the order of interface, it would still hold. Okay. So, it is from that argument that we use interface which has no capacity, because it is only plane. I am not saying that it is a nano dimensioned object. Okay, we will come to that later in a different course. Interface is a plane, and plane has no thickness, so it has no capacity. So, the moment it comes in contact with CO2, it will get saturated. Once it is saturated, the same relation will hold. So, normally we talk of equilibrium in context of bulk of one phase with in contact with bulk of another phase, but the same thing can be narrowed down to an interface. So, when you apply it to interface, you are not making any error, except the fact that you have to bear it in mind that actual interface is not going to be planar. It will be something like about 25 nanometers thick, and is going to take time of the order of a maybe fraction of a millisecond to get saturated. That dynamics of interface concentration, where it rises from 0 to saturation, that we neglect in practice. Okay. So, when you say Y star equal to Hx applies to the interface, it means we are presuming the interface to be a plane with no capacity. Okay. Fine. So, you are with me with this equation, we had considered this. I am repeating some part of it. Because of solute being considered dilute in the mixture, we could take this G out. G could be treated as constant, or in the relation between X and Y, L was also treated constant, because any change in the molar flux of liquid would be negligible, right. Okay. Then we separated the variables and wrote the height as this G by kg AC minus G by kg AC integral y0 to yl dy by y minus y star. And here we noted that unless we are able to describe y star in terms of y, we cannot hope to integrate this equation. There we require the third key equation, which is the equilibrium relationship, and for dilute vapor, sparingly soluble gas, that is provided by Henry's law, Y star equal to Hx. So, in principle, I can substitute for X from the material balance over delta Z. This was what we had got. Equation 1 is the relation between X and Y, and this has come from the differential balance of the total solute within the gas phase and liquid phase in height delta Z. That gave us this relationship, and therefore, this is coming from mass balance. This is a statement of material balance. We will name it shortly, but this gives us a relation between X and Y. I need to substitute Y star in terms of Y. Y star equal to Hx or Henry's law does not give me Y star in terms of Y, but I have a relation between X and Y, that is this. So, I substitute for X in terms of Y here from equation 1, and therefore, I will get Y star equal to H into X, which is this X0 plus G by L Y minus Y0. Now, this is the relation I was looking at. I want Y star in terms of Y, this is it. I substitute this in equation 2. Okay? That is what we do next, and this is what we get. Here, I think I stop short of completing this. So, I would like you to jot down, take the top equation here and integrate. I want to make it more interactive, and hopefully we will take a problem today, which I promised yesterday. This should be straightforward, just integration, right. You just divide by G, capital G, and you get that final equation. This is the height of tower. L is equal to 1 by capital K subscript capital G AC. C is the molar concentration in the gas phase. Y0 and X0 are mole fractions in the gas phase and liquid phase at the bottom of the tower. YL and XL are the corresponding mole fractions of the solute in the gas and liquid at the top of the column. Now, we need to reflect on this a bit. First thing is to note that we have so far worked with a dilute vapor case. We worked with the assumption that the mole fraction of solute in the entering gas is small enough to create negligible change in the gas flux, molar flux, and liquid molar flux. We should be able to extend this to concentrated vapors without much difficulty. That is the first thing to note, and this is exactly what we will do shortly. Second, we have thought of removing this solute from the gas phase. So, we have talked of gas absorption or gas scrubbing. The same analysis should hold good for desorption or gas stripping, in which a supersaturated solution of solute in liquid, or it could be undersaturated, need not be supersaturated, loses the solute to a gas phase which has no or very little solute. Reverse direction should not matter. So, the same analysis should be applicable for desorption or gas stripping. Third, what I have already explained to you, we worked in terms of gas phase. Here, this example of equivalent gas phase for liquid, we could have equivalently worked in terms of liquid phase alone, right. And now comes the relationship which I did not show you, but I explained qualitatively that the overall gas phase resistance will come out to be related to reciprocal of Kg and Kl, and that is exactly this. If you work with the resistance concept, this is something you should be able to check for yourself. Okay. So, 1 by Kg, left hand side here, gives you the overall resistance in terms of gas phase. First term gives you the resistance of the actual gas film, and the second term gives you the resistance of liquid in terms of gas phase equivalence. We could not have added resistance of gas to, we could not have added the dissimilar resistances otherwise. It is in terms of an equivalent phase. Okay. What I meant is basically the second term is not just 1 by KL, that would not be appropriate. So, the other factors which come H C gas by C liquid, that is from the act of measuring resistance in the same terms, gas phase here. We could have done equivalently for liquid phase, and we could have written 1 by capital K subscript capital L, and that would be from similar reciprocals of KL and Kg with corresponding change in the other factors like H, C gas and C liquid. So, this relationship is something I would want you to verify for yourself. Okay? Not difficult? Try it. Maybe next time I will ask you whether you have done it. Okay. Now, I have two options. Either I can take you into the gas absorption of concentrated vapor, which will require substantially more time, or alternatively I can give you a problem and make this into an assignment, this equation 6 to prove, and the problem which I will now. This comes with a statutory warning that it looks simple problem. Situation, real situation is gas in contact with liquid, and I told you that you can't write driving force as concentration of solute A in the gas phase minus concentration of solute A in liquid phase. You can only write in terms of concentration in the bulk of gas minus at the interface in the gas phase, or you could say concentration in the liquid at interface minus concentration in the bulk of liquid. Those will take respectively small kg and small kl for writing fluxes. When you want to write in terms of gas and liquid as it exists, we have to replace liquid by equivalent gas, which will offer same resistance as the liquid. Okay. So, you are taking C1 minus C1 star. That C1 star is the concentration in the gas phase, where it in equilibrium with the liquid with mole fraction x. Okay. Now, what is your question? I have to go back here, explain. Please remember again, sometimes this is another reason why mass transfer becomes little more tractable. Conceptually it gets harder. Please remember, you have an interface between gas and liquid. Okay. This is gas phase. This is a gas film resistance. All the resistance by the gas phase is offered by this thickness of gas. Okay. Which is stagnant. Actual gas may be in motion. In motion, therefore, resistance may be in this region lower. But then there is a bulk of gas, rest of the gas, which will offer resistance under convecting condition. If you were to ignore the convection and say that whatever resistance is there in presence of convection, I lump it into a stationary or stagnant film of film theory here. This is a stagnant gas film offering the same resistance as under actual gas phase condition. Okay. If I were to take only that region in the actual gas phase conditions, resistance will be lower. Other resistance have clubbed into this, making it a stagnant film of a film theory. That is one part. Same thing for liquid, may be stronger. If liquid is in convection, overall resistance it offers will be given by a much thinner stagnant film of liquid. This offers same resistance as the total. In this region, under convective conditions, motion condition, the resistance would have been much lower. Okay. So, if you get this equivalent of the entire phase given by just the film of stagnant phase, whether gas or liquid, that is your individual film transfer coefficient, small kg or small kl. Okay. Now we come to this. I want to define the flux in terms of bulk of gas and bulk of liquid, but I am not allowed to take difference of gas phase and liquid phase concentrations directly. Okay. Because the phases have different densities, concentrations are very different. If I were to take actual gas phase concentration and subtract from there actual liquid phase concentration, I will get a negative value. Okay. It makes no sense. You can't, this is the cardinal principle. You can only subtract concentrations from within the same phase, gas within gas or liquid within liquid. But I am forcing myself to talk in overall terms of gas and liquid. So, I solve that problem by saying that whatever is resistance of the gas film plus liquid film, I will make it expressible in terms of a thicker gas film or alternatively a thicker liquid film, and then I will have to choose to state the difference between actual gas phase concentration minus the equivalent gas phase concentration, which is in equilibrium with the liquid. Or I take liquid which is in equilibrium with the gas, take that concentration minus the actual liquid phase concentration, and then I will be using capital K subscript capital G or capital K subscript capital L. Those capital K's are the overall mass transfer coefficients. Now, is that clear? It takes a while, but okay. Now, let me run quickly through this problem, and with that statutory warning that it might look simple, but you can make mistakes. So, look at this problem. We are talking of carbon dioxide absorption. So, let us read the problem. The word short there is a misnomer. That is the first thing I would say. It turns out the column is not so short, but your calculation should show that. So, drop that word. A packed tower uses an organic amine at 14 degrees centigrade to absorb carbon dioxide. Monoethanol amine diethanolamine, triethanolamine, these amines are good solvents for CO2 as well as for H2S. That is from practice. The entering gas which contains 1.27% CO2, and when you say 1.27% of CO2 for gas phase, you have to understand that for gas phase the mole percent, volume percent, pressure percent are same. So, we could take this as mole percent. That entering gas would be in equilibrium with a solution of amine containing 7.3 mole percent CO2. Okay? Note the word equilibrium. We are only given this piece of information that certain gas phase in equilibrium with this amine at this concentration. So, this is an information about equilibrium. So, this is the source of generating the value of the Henry's law constant. Okay? Otherwise, we would not need this. Next, the gas leaves containing 0.04% CO2. So, that is the exit condition. Okay? The amine flowing counter currently enters essentially pure. So, we know something about XL at the top, it is 0. Gas flow is 2.31 gram mole per second, liquid flow is 0.46 gram mole per second, and tau cross sectional is 0.84 meter square. So, now you have gas molar flow, liquid molar flow and area. So, you can calculate gas and molar fluxes, divide simply by area. The mass transfer coefficient times the surface area per volume, and that is that kGa is 0.022 second inverse, and the question asked is how large the tower will be needed for this absorption. In short, it is what is the height of the tower. Okay? So, either write down the problem or take a snapshot and work this out together with the resistance for overall gas film and resistance for overall liquid film, overall gas phase resistance and overall liquid phase resistance, and make it into your next assignment. Okay? To be submitted a week later. Tomorrow we start with concentrated. Yeah, in deriving this. Yeah, of course. Because you need to write the flux for gas film and for liquid film, and you will require interface concentrations.